Hello, I'm Shane. Welcome to William Angliss Institute. I'm a trainer here in patisserie and I'd like to show you some things we're doing today in the chocolate room. We're making some chocolate Easter eggs, so come on in and have a look. Tempering chocolate is a bit of a scientific process. We've got a couverture chocolate here. The couverture is an all-natural chocolate made with cacao beans, which means we have an all-natural vegetable fat in there. And the vegetable fat that's contained in that chocolate is cocoa butter. So what we have to do here is we have to temper the chocolate to make sure that when it sets, it's going to set with a beautiful glossy finish. It's going to be lovely on the palate and it will break with a lovely snap. These are the things you look for. You look for flavour, you look for the gloss on the chocolate, and you look for the snapping sound in the chocolate, and that'll tell you that your chocolate's tempered correctly. You use the marble slab because it cools the chocolate very evenly but quickly.
I'm just checking the temperature of the chocolate. Once it reaches 26 degrees, I'll tip the chocolate back into the remaining.
As you can see here, we have a two-part mould, very similar to the ones you buy in the hobby cake decorating stores. And what we do, we colour up the small details, and then we're going to add the dark chocolate in one half. We're going to put the two sides together, and that's going to give us a whole bunny. A little bit of a tap to make sure the chocolate's nice and smooth. The other half just goes straight on the top. The magnets will magnetise it and bring the two sides together. And we're right to go. I'm just going to flip it over and work our chocolate into there. And now we're going to pop this onto a special machine which is going to rotate that mould so that the shell is a lovely even thickness. This one here is going to have a lovely soft centre with a very nice fine shell so that when you bite into that chocolate, it's just going to disintegrate in your mouth. We're going to use a dark chocolate as the shell, and in the centre I'm going to make a hazelnut ganache. What I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to polish the mould, and you're going to get a lovely shiny chocolate if you do that. Once I'm finished, I'm going to warm that up slightly, just with a hairdryer, and then I'm going to pour the chocolate straight in, make a nice shell, let it set, and then I'm going to come back and pipe the filling in. Give it a tap, like that. And with a scraper, I'm just going to scrape the majority of that chocolate excess back into the bowl. So alright, now what I'm going to do now is tip the chocolate out, the majority of it back onto the bench. And that will give you a nice thin shell. Just going to quickly go once more over there with the scraper. And I'm just going to flip that upside down. I'm not going to pop this mould into the fridge because I just want it to set in an ambient room temperature. The reason being, you get a nicer finish on your chocolate, you get a lovely shine. Yes, Mel, that's fine. The chocolate's shrinking away from the mould, so that tells you that the chocolate's been tempered correctly. Beautiful.
I love it at William Angliss. The breadth and experience that we can get here is beyond anything else. The teachers are wonderful. The amount of knowledge that's available to all students is great.
I'm planning to open my own business in South Korea. Yes. I love learning about chocolate, making chocolate skills, and we have a great teacher here.
We're really encouraged to be creative, showing off fine detail and learning how to do all kind of things such as decorating.
What I'm going to do here, Anna, is I'm going to tip that out there. So all I'm doing here is I'm making up a quick filling for the filled centre chocolates. All it is melted chocolate, some hazelnut paste or Nutella, and you mix that through, and it sets like a very nice soft ganache. I've filled my ganache into a piping bag, and I'm just going to fill the centres of the chocolate, each one of those. So now all I'm going to do is smooth it. I'm going to pour the melted chocolate over the top and give them a nice thin base, and then I'm going to let them set. Then all I'm going to do is just scrape that off. And then what I'm going to do with that is pop it through the cooling tunnel. So what I have here, I have the mould out of the cooling tunnel, and you can see just from the coloration in the mould that this chocolate is tempered correctly and it's starting to shrink away from the mould. And very shortly I'm going to be able to turn these chocolates out. So there they are, beautiful soft scented chocolate. Yummy.